Before I start with today's video, I would just like to say thank you for 600 subscribers on the channel. I am happy that there are many of you who enjoyed the content I put out. I hope there are more who will discover these videos as I continue production, and hopefully can produce better content as I work and improve on the quality of these videos. Now, let us begin. A maester of Yevon and an old friend of Auron's, Wen Kinoc personifies the corruption of power and the lengths one will go in order not only to maintain but gain more power, as well as developing the fear of losing it. He is a minor character in the game, but his upbringing and backstory is rather deep and is well connected with one of the major characters of the game. This connection will be explored in today's video as we take a look at the story of Maester Wen Kinoc. Maester Kinoc was born at some point before the events of Final Fantasy X. Nothing is known about his childhood, but it is likely he was a devout follower of Yevon and grew up following its teachings. Such was the case of the majority of people who grew up in Spira. In his upbringing, he trained to be a warrior monk, and at some point during his training, he meets a young Auron, with whom he trains alongside. Between the two, Auron was seen in a higher regard amongst the Yevon elite, and was chosen to be the husband of a priest's daughter. However, when Auron refused to take her hand and was cast into exile, Maester Kinoc got the promotion that was meant for Auron. While Kinoc was working his way up the ranks of the promotion, Auron was discovered by Braska and had asked him to become his guardian in his pilgrimage to defeat Sin. In a sphere found in Mushroom Rock Road in the game, we see an interaction where Auron and Kinoc talk about his journey to become Braska's guardian. By this point, Kinoc had been promoted to second in command, a position that should have gone to Auron. He shows his curiosity of Zanarkand through his request to Auron to tell him all about it upon his return from the pilgrimage. We first meet Maester Kinoc in the game during Operation Meehen. He is seen alongside Yunaseymour. By this point, his official title has now become the Minister of Military Affairs, which makes him the head of the warrior monks, a position he once held, as well as overseeing the operations of the Crusaders, thus making him a leading authority figure in Operation Meehen. Maester Kinoc had also built the mindset of the fear of losing all the power he had worked to gain. So when Seymour was building power, this had caused fear in Wen Kinoc. So he looked to Vegnagun, a slumbering machina that resided in the depths of Bevel. When word was going around of illusions of the ancient machina in Mushroom Rock Road, Kinoc had the Crimson Squad, composing of Nuge, Baralai, Gipple, and their Sphere Recorder Pain amongst other aspiring members to explore the Den of Woe, and had discovered the spirit of Shuyan, who had killed the members of the Crimson Squad except for the 4 named members. Meanwhile, Kinoc had been overseeing the operation alongside Seymour when he comes across his old friend Auron. They reminisce of their past, but Auron senses Kinoc's desire for power in their time apart. We see their interactions to be less cheerful than they were 10 years prior. While Kinoc was seen alongside Seymour endorsing Operation Meehen, he secretly hoped that the Crusaders and Al Bhed would fail in defeating Sin to enforce that Yevon was the only way to defeat it, thus empowering him in his position in Yevon, in which he succeeds. When he had discovered that the Crimson Squad had failed in their mission in the Den of Woe, he ordered all of the survivors of the attack to be executed to hide his failure, a deed he had hoped to be done during the events of the operation, expecting the deaths to be done amidst the chaos of the battle against Sin. He then ordered for the Den of Woe to be sealed using magic. The next time we see Kinoc is during the wedding between Yuna and Seymour, where he leads the warrior monks against the Al Bhed airship and Yuna's guardians. Here we see another interaction between the old friends, where Kinoc points out the exceptions of the use of machina weapons that are seen as forbidden by Yevon, showing a disregard of the hypocrisy of Yevon's teachings in favor of maintaining his power. He is present when Yuna is given a trial for her betrayal when she kills Seymour and is sentenced to Via Purifico along with her guardians. When the maesters discuss their possible escape, Kinoc accompanies Seymour, not trusting his intentions. Between this interaction and Seymour's confrontation with the party, Kinoc is killed by Seymour and is absorbed in his transformation to Seymour Natus. While Auron and Kinoc were no longer friends, he still remembers their past as friends, and he is enraged by Kinoc's death, which is seen in his interaction with Seymour Natus during the battle. Much like Jisco Guado, Wen Kinoc is seen in Final Fantasy X-2, when Yuna, Riku, and Pain explore Via Infinito. They see Kinoc before he transforms into the fiend Arania and is ultimately defeated by the party. Maester Kinoc is an example of how corruption of power could affect the person, especially when this path could have easily befallen one of the most beloved characters in Final Fantasy X. Despite his growing desire and fear of power, Kinoc was still a good friend of Auron's and was avenged when the party defeats Seymour in the game. What did you think of Kinoc? Did you believe he was well implemented and written as a power-hungry authority figure of Yevon? What do you think the events of the game would look like if Auron had taken the hand of the daughter in marriage and had gotten that promotion instead? Let me know in the comment section below, and consider subscribing if you are enjoying the content and wish to see more. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and that, as they say, is that.